Hello and welcome to the Alexandra Wenman Show. I'm so excited to introduce you to my guest today, Leni Morrison, who is an amazing quantum healer. She's a musician, she's a channel, she is, well, I guess Leni is one of the amazing souls who is sort of at the forefront of this ascension awakening journey, really. We're all just feeling our way forward as we go, right, Leni?
Yeah, it's certainly starting to take off in the most powerful way that, whoa, it's stunning, this reality that we're in at the moment and that we'll continue to move onward and upward into. It's lovely, yeah.
It's I feel like, as we record this, it's 2019, and it feels to me like the lid is beginning to lift on a lot of the heaviness that we've experienced in recent years. Do you agree?
Yeah, I believe actually nearly practically all the Draco energy has gone, the reptilian energy of the planet, my understanding, has exposed a lot of the darkness. We've been very aware, but it's all being released now. And a lot of us on the planet are doing everything we can to make sure that the light, it will prevail. The light will absolutely is the strongest energy we have as a group, as humanity, as a divine beings. We have lots of light, so hopefully we'll keep shining.
As you're talking, I'm just feeling all this light kind of flooding through my body.
Sending light.
Like, whoa! It's like lift off, rocket fuel. So just for our viewers, can you tell us a little bit about how your kind of awakening journey began? Because you've been aware of all of this since childhood, right?
Yes, but I think I have been very aware since I was little, but I think it's only since I'm at this stage reflecting back, I'm more aware, because I think when you're a child, you sort of assume everybody else is seeing colors and beings and speaking to guides. And so it's really only now at this stage of my life, I'm looking back going, okay, I did have a deeper connection perhaps than I thought was, everybody else had. I think when you're in a family where half of the family has died due to, a terrible illness. So when you're born into a family where there is, at a very young age, death, you are, I think, automatically connected to a higher source. I think when my first brother died at 3, I started to, my earliest memories are of visions in my bedroom of light beings. And I think they may have been coming to comfort me in this, huge pathos that was all around me. And I guess I must have, as a little girl, must have asked for help on some levels. So I only, believe it or not, I only remembered that lately, because I've just gone through life with so many experiences happening that I haven't had time to stop, reflect, process. And when you start to sort of look at your past, your early life, you realize there have been moments that have directed everything divinely, and help that has come. I used to have Geronimo sitting at the end of the bed, and I'd chat to him with his pipe smoking, and I would sit there and listen to him, and we would talk, and I thought this was normal. And then he disappeared, I guess, when my ego came in, as most kids.
Or when school came in.
Yeah, I'm unlearning everything that school and life has taught me up to, through university and everything. You just go, when you start to, when the crack that lets the light in and the light comes in, you realize we have to literally unlearn everything so that we can make sense of a quantum reality. Everything is so linear, and our belief system is so thwarted and limited if we don't step out and act, literally allow the light to pervade our system, allow the truth. So I'm on this quest now to just be on the path of truth, which is, it's shocking when you think how this I don't want to go too far into that, but yes, you do have to unlearn what school taught you, or what the system tries to break you a little bit. So yeah, I'm very aware that I'm waking up now. I'm waking up to remember.
I think it really feels like it is time now. It's time, the buck stops here. This week in London, as we film this, we've had children marching in the streets, and this beautiful little girl from Sweden standing up in Parliament and talking about climate change and saying enough is enough, and no more with the lies, and no more with the raping of the planet's fossil fuels. And we literally have to stop it now. And I mean, we can talk about it in terms of climate change, but there is so much more to it. And like you say, I mean, we could go down the rabbit hole if we talk about all of it, but I mean,
it's a beautiful movement.
There are so many lies and cover-ups, and there is so much corruption on our planet, and it's the corruption of the innocent, the innocent soul that we all are, I believe. And all of our gifts and all of our magic, it's part of our natural birthright, and it's time for people to really start to remember this and start to embrace it. And it's happening whether people want it to or not. I think there are kind of those of us that are on a path, and we're kind of dedicated to that, from following our hearts, and those who might be reluctant, but life in general is just kind of cracking them apart. It's like there's no one's escaping it, really, unless you're leaving the planet.
I guess so. And I was actually fortunate enough to attend a rally with my daughter, who's now a teenager, and seeing those kids on the streets as young as, actually there were babies at the protest, and they were even little kids for climate change. It's amazing. So yeah, I've just written a song about it. I was so moved by Greta and her the way she speaks. She's like an ascended master here to just shake us up, wake us up, and to do it with such profound awareness. She's direct source as far as I'm concerned. So these kids are coming in, these really light, full of crystal energy. These kids are here to shake us and wake us up. We've a lot to learn from these. We call them 10-year-olds, but they are ancient, man. They're like the oldest souls coming back, in this resurgence. So we're very blessed. They're awake. Yeah,
they're great sages, aren't they? And we've known they were coming for a long time. We've been told about it. There've been prophecies about it for such a long time. And one of the things that I've been told about is this next wave of what my guides call the diamond souls returning. And these children they're not going to have amnesia. They're going to come in, and they already are. Kind of coming in, remembering who they were and who they are, and remembering their mission, and they're getting younger and younger and younger, and it's just phenomenal. I've had a few little clients who've come in and talked to me about their past lives, one of which is very well aware that she was a holy man in her most recent past life, and she was teaching this stuff, and she hasn't lost her memory. Like, it's just extraordinary. She's 9 and she's teaching her parents all this amazing stuff. So it's happening. Everything that kind of we said would happen is happening, and it seems to me this year it's really ramped up. It's really accelerated. It's just phenomenal.
It has. We are in 5D awareness and up. Once we choose to wake up, there's no looking back. Yeah.
So you're very connected to Mary Magdalene and this sort of goddess priestess lineages. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means to you, and how you kind of came to be on that path, or to discover that you were on that path?
Well, I guess when I was very little, I had a strong connection with Mother Mary. And when I was after my brother died, I don't know names. When they appear to me, or when they come to me, it's as a light, and the vibrational language that comes from that gives me an essence, perhaps. So my understanding is that the energy that is coming to me is the divine goddess energy. I had a very powerful experience in Brazil under a waterfall, and I had a powerful mentor with me, an amazing lady from New York, and she showed me a way to access a male and female crystal under the waterfall, and that it would open up, a portal, if you will. And this particular part of Brazil where I was is known for, a very high vibration. The veil is very thin, if you will. And I do remember just an incredible explosion of light in front of me with blue diamond ray and white light. And I instinctively, the vibrational language that came from this vision was that it was Mother Mary. Now it may just have, it may have been goddess energy. I don't know, but my instinctual reaction was that this was a beautiful goddess energy that had entered into me while I was, I guess, at that stage in my 20s. About a year after coming back from working in Brazil, I hosted a meditation with people from all over the world in my home. And we had some people who were from Egypt. We had some people from San Francisco, Brazil, people I met on my journey. It was like a huge group, like 24, 25 people. And we were sat, I had the crystals that I had activated in Brazil in the circle. There were certain other, I guess, powerful relics or crystals in the circle from other people. And I always led meditations in Brazil, but here was a particular, something different happened where my Kundalini suddenly activated in the circle. And it was quite powerful because I had this like loud crack in the back of my spine, you know, and I literally started to uncoil, like as if the only way I can liken it is the serpent, the way they, you know, move and spiral up through my system. And at the same time, this beautiful, I would just call it a seed of love and light went through my entire body. And while this was happening, over my head came a serpent, I just, this incredible golden serpent. And I started to channel Isis. And I apparently was giving everybody language through Isis, through this voice. I was removing implants. I was through this channel. I mean, I'm not doing this. I'm the vessel that's opening. I'm never doing it. I'm just a vessel for this. So the Isis connection then grew inside me, if you will. And but what was really embarrassing was that my mom was in the circle. And after I kind of came out of the trance, I was like, oh, that was like...
like a cosmic orgasm.
She suddenly grabbed the tea and said, I'm going to make tea. I'm actually, you know, I'm just going to make tea for everybody. Because, you know, I was just like in this ecstatic, blissful, like high vibration that it was just, you know, amazing. So then I started to take myself a little bit more seriously, and I started to really work with what the light was bringing me. And in my meditations, we have groups. I have had groups we have experiences, transmissions with goddess energy, with Ascended Master Kuan Yin. I'm working with since I came back from Sedona. I'm working with a very powerful lady I met in Sedona. I was there for a conference in October, and I was there for Cryon, who I've followed really since I was 19. Literally, a book fell on my head, and I've just been a Cryon fan since. Everything he says resonates with me. So it was no surprise I would meet one of my gurus in Sedona through the Cryon conference. And she, Annette Boyle is her name, she is working very strongly with the Kuan Yin energy. So I have, as sort of her, I suppose, she's working with me every day. We're working, sending planetary healing, working with grids and stargates, and she's a part of my journey now. And I keep meeting these amazing women on my journey. When I was in Australia, I met another really powerful ascended master goddess energy woman who just opened me up, and you know, she prepared me for my next journey. And then in Brazil, I met another beautiful American, again, goddess energy. Everywhere I meet these women, and now this woman in Canada. So, you know, I am blessed. We're magnetized towards each other. Maybe it's our diamond code awakening each other. But yeah, I mean, a lot is coming through with women. I've had powerful male experiences too, but I think the female goddess energy is just, it's so appropriate for the time we're in the now time. You know, it is, but it's a merging of both also. You know, it's like, I don't want to be gender specific because we all have aspects of the yin and yang, male and female. So I am presenting in this life as woman, but you know, I am, you know, we are all that is.
Absolutely. I got a really strong kind of kick up the butt this week, I guess, because it's, you know, yes, we all have a masculine and a feminine side. We all have the magic and the rational and the logical, right? And it's just, I guess, that some of us on this feminine path are here to work with those energies, or here to bring through those energies. But I quite recently came to a realization that it's really, really important that we forgive and heal our inner masculine as well as our inner feminine. Like, I've been working a lot on my wounded feminine over the years, and like you, this diamond blue and diamond white ray coming through, and I almost feel like I've done all this work on my feminine, and suddenly the other day I was like, whoa, what about my inner masculine? Because I've been so on this magical, spiritual, beautiful path, and like you, channeling, and so many of us are doing it. But it's like, I think the time has come now that we need to bring all of that magic into a space where it is digestible, and a space where it is accessible and acceptable. And I'm really, I find it kind of difficult to articulate what I mean by that, because what I don't mean is a dumbing down of our language, or, you know, or putting labels on what we do in certain terms. I found that in the spiritual community, a lot of people are like, kind of getting a bit opinionated. There's a lot of this us and them stuff happening, where people are like, oh, you just need to sit with presence, you don't need to do anything, or you mustn't actually actively heal yourself because we're already perfect. Well, it's yes, both. And then this thing about, why channel, it's all your higher self. So I'm seeing all these kind of labels, and I think this is just coming into my kind of sphere of influence, because in my book, it's all divine and it's all acceptable. However, that kind of divine energy comes through you, and whatever you can use to create reference points for yourself is totally okay. So it's like, not about using somebody else's language to describe what's happening with you. It's about maybe forming your own language or your own reference points now, because we're really at the forefront of this change. There's never been a time like this on earth before. It's a whole new ball game. Like, it's a whole new epoch. We can't compare it to anything else. So I find that it's really important to have a masculine container for it, because that's how we don't end up losing our minds with half the weirdness that's gone on. But I think that, you know, use references, use wording, or use language that is comfortable to you personally. It doesn't mean that you have to follow somebody else's rules, and certainly not to detract from what somebody else is doing, what they're teaching, or what they're learning, or where their path is, right? I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's all about healing the masculine, I think, because the reference points and the goalposts are moving and changing all of the time. And if we remain in that masculine patriarchal paradigm where we box ourselves in to somebody else's rules or to somebody else's thing, then we're still operating from that wounded masculine power control aspect. Whereas I feel that if we're coming into our own logic, our own rational mind, and creating our own container, whatever that looks like, that's bringing the masculine into balance with the feminine, because the feminine is so vast, ethereal, unable to be kind of pinned down, unable to have labels put on it, because it's the all, it's the everything, it's the potential for anything. And so it's like, well, just describe it how you would describe it. And that's the whole point of the show, really, is just to, you know, throw it open, make it all normal. I think make it all normal, however weird and woo-woo and out there it seems, or however basic.
Yeah, I think when we start to use labels, we're in a linear way of thinking. I just think we have to just trust our heart, and it's a vibrational language. It's just tuning into the frequency and vibration, and whatever is right and coming from heart, not head, is perfect, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If we get this in the way, then we're gone into ego and duality, and we don't want, in this now time, we need to really, like, one of the messages that keeps coming through all the work that when I'm channeling is we have to live in the heart, from the heart, through the heart, and get out of the ego, get out of the head that wants to dictate this is how it is, because that's not working. It hasn't worked. It's not the truth anymore. The old truths, they're falling away. It's a new vibrational language now. So that's why I even struggle to say what I do, because I don't know what I do.
I was just coming to that.
I don't want to be limited by a label, because tomorrow it'll be something else, and in the next minute it could be something else.
Yeah.
When you open to the grid of all existence and you're in the geometric field of all that is, then you're just resonating with what is around you. So I'm blown away every day, every few minutes, by what's going on. So I'm at a real loss to pinpoint who I am or what I am. I am.
Let's try and talk about it, because I think for people watching, like,
yeah,
it would be interesting. So in terms of, let's bring it down into, I guess, a one-on-one healing session with you.
Yeah.
What sorts of things tend to go on? Because we know that you've discovered some new gifts in this amazing, incredible journey. So,
well, I think it's ultimately the power of. It depends really on where that soul is when they come to see me. So, for example, the higher vibration of the soul, the more powerful the connection for us together. And what happens is, I had an extraordinary and mind-blowing connection with a guy who came to see me a couple of weeks ago. And literally before he entered the building, I was, shaking. I knew, okay, here comes someone really high vibrational energy that we're going to see what happens. And immediately, because of the light that he's carrying, merging with the light that I'm using, or the light that's coming through rather, we go straight into channeling for maybe 2 hours, and light language is coming through and songs are coming through. And I don't even have to touch this person. Because that's where he's at on his journey. So the messages that are coming are so specific to him on his individual journey, for example. And so then you could have someone else come to you, and they're in a different space, they're in a different dimension, they're a different reality. And so you are laying on your hands, you're talking, and really it's connecting with their innate. And their innate is the inner intelligence in their system, which responds with me working with whatever light I'm using. So no two sessions are ever the same. You're resonating with what is in front of you, and you are literally channeling what is needed in that time, which is appropriate. And for some people, that is light language in star songs, if that's where they're from. And for some people, that is ancestral healing, because they are really struggling with the now time, because they're carrying all their bloodline, mother-father bloodline stuff, which is literally blocking their progress. They can't breathe, some of them. Others are lost, and they know they're star seeds, and they need to be aware of their journeys. Everybody, it's like a blueprint, it's like a fingerprint. A blueprint that we carry is so unique. So everybody I'm working with is different because of that. But in a nutshell, if you can put it into a nutshell, it is working with the Akash. It is working with the innate. It is working with the higher consciousness through the heart. And I am every day continuing to be blown away by what's coming through in this new energy, because you could have been a healer 20, 30 years, or someone working with energy 20, 30 years ago, but you weren't connecting properly, like the radio frequency, if you will, wasn't tuned in, and you may get disconnected and disillusioned and heartbroken and turn away from your path. Now that's changing, because the radio frequency, the tuning the fork is so strong. So I think a lot of people like me are realizing that the gift, or I won't say gift, the waking up is so strong in us now, that we are not limited by our belief system anymore. We know that we are unlimited. So I am in that process now. I am waking up and realizing that there are no rules, there are no boundaries. It's very exciting. I literally leap out of bed. And I, like you, had a huge kick in the butt to get here too, because, trying to work in a linear way, and trying to do the 9 to 5, the universe just went, no, you're not doing that. And then, my God, I got pushed and hurled around by, let's not go there. But, you just have to come to a point of waking up in your life, and you go, okay, let's use this magic. Let's be of help. Let's be of assistance, because that's, if you're opening up and asking, can I be of service, which is what I'm doing. I'm just asking, can I help? And I can help, because what's happening is, or I not me, the vessel that's me, is able to get the language they need. And it's like tapping into this existence vibrationally, using the language. And it's like my GPS, it's like, if the information helps them, I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know where that message is coming from, but you need to hear this. And I'm going to step out of the way, because my ego maybe blocked me 20, 30 years ago. Well, not when I was 10, actually, because funnily enough, this is a funny story. A childhood story is just coming back. When my aunt was raising money for a musical in the local society, or community, sorry. And she just asked, would I be a fortune teller? I was like 10 or 11. And I was really excited, because I wanted to dress up in the, all the gypsy gear and the bangles and stuff. And I had a little caravan and everything in this field. It was a beautiful summer's day. And I obviously was loving and relishing the experience of people coming, and then they give money that could go to the musical. And so they would put their hands, I'd look at their hands, having a laugh. But I was able to tell them, like, all this stuff about their children or grandchildren, and they'd be walking out like their head spinning, and they'd tell everybody. And I had like a queue of about 50, 60, 70 people all coming, and I was like 10. And I think that was my first, like, real first experience of touching people and getting a vibrational input of their lives. I think we definitely raised a lot of money that day for the music.
Amazing.
My dad was like, hang on, this is weird. My daughter is telling them stuff they need to know. So I think I'm now gone back to the job I was doing 30 years ago, doing it on a more profound level, perhaps with just a bit more awareness. But anyway.
And that's why we have to listen to the children. The
children know. So that 10-year-old girl, she knew what she was up to, and then she had to go through the circus of whatever the 3D realities that we have to play out. Anyway,
I feel like we have to go into that. It's like we're undercover agents, so we've had to go into the 3D systems in order to bust them open from the inside. Really, like, understand how they work, and then just go, nope. Not doing that anymore. But I do think there is a lot of power in forgiving the patriarchy and forgiving the old system, really. As women, I think we all carry a lot of collective trauma.
Well, we are the old system too, know. And everything that's been done to me in this lifetime, I have done to others in other lifetimes. I'm very aware that this is our opportunity to make peace with all of the pain and suffering and sadness that we have caused in various incarnations, because none of us are here right now without this lesson of, and I don't ever want to say men are this or women are that. We are all in this melting pot together, going through, and it is all about love now.
Yeah, well, I know that you work with past lives and you get to see past lives as well. And I certainly know that in my own personal past lives, there have been many as the victim, but equally many as the perpetrator. And, many where I've been a man. And, it's all balance, isn't it? The soul kind of has a journey. And I feel like all lifetimes in this time, because of this quickening and this sort of, we're shifting to this very multi-dimensional kind of new paradigm. It's like all timelines are now converging, so you can heal multiple at once, right? Is this what's happening with your work, Leni, as well?
Well, when you're healing in the now time, you're also accessing future and past. It's multidimensional. It's time doesn't exist. It's just what we've created it so that we can cope and do our worldly way of getting around, I guess. And we've needed that system. But, we really are, when we're working with these past lives, what I ask, because, for many years growing up when I was little, I was obsessed with knowing who was I? And then you find out who you were. Who? Don't want to. But what when we're in the sort of the old energy, we sort of only zoned in on all the painful past lives, because we came into this life with suffering and pain. A lot of us feel a lot of depression and pain, but in the new energy, what I want to do with people is, okay, let's pull forward the lifetimes that need to be released now, that aren't serving you anymore. But equally, let's pull forward all the lifetimes that are your highest self in alignment with the great things you've achieved in other lifetimes. Let's pull those forward. Sometimes we're obsessed with all the sadness and the pain, and okay, but we need to clear it. We need to accept that pain and suffering. We have been through all of the pain. We've been through all of the suffering, but we've also been through huge joy. We've also had lifetimes where we were triumphant, where we were healers, we were seers, we were masters. So let's bring forward the magic and let's release the pain. And we can do that in the now time. We can do that. We don't have to be encumbered with the pain and the anchors that they have caused us. We can release them with love. And that's what I'm trying to do with my clients, is that we align with our highest self now for the highest good in this now time, so that we only bring forward the highest lives. We clear those which need to be dropped, literally cut away. And we can do that with very simple symbols, light language, prayer, energy. Whatever needs to come through in that time is perfect. So I just trust what I'm being guided to in that time. But yes, we do need to forgive ourselves for what we have done. And we need to then open our hearts to move into, just pure unconditional love, and love ourselves more than anything now. We're being guided to stop the old language, which is hurting ourselves. It's, for some reason, society makes it okay to diss yourself or hate on things and others, etc., all that horrible lingo that I wish I didn't know. But I have a teenage daughter. I'm very aware of how it's okay to not like yourself and not like stuff, and it's not okay. What's okay right now is, and what should be celebrated right now, is loving and respecting our bodies unconditionally. The more beautiful language we can give to our bodies and our innate, our intelligence, it's, organizing how all of this beautiful intricate system works, the more love we give it, the more love we give out. And that is what we're here to do, so I'm very happy to be alive at this time.
I'm very happy you're alive at this time too, honey. Also, I wanted to talk, because obviously you are a musician and you write beautiful music. I was listening to your music this morning. I wanted to know if, obviously, music, I mean, with the light language, do you use music and song and sound as part of your healing process?
Yes, I have been more so since I returned from Sedona, because that's when the light language opened in me. I had such profound experiences there with Cryon and Prageet Harris, another amazing, through Alcazar. And it was when we sort of went through the 12th dimension that these languages started to come through, which I've no idea what they were, but they were beautiful sounds. And that has started to work. But in the music, that has started to work in the healing. In the music, I'm just writing, I would say, songs that are coming from a much more, I mean, I've always channeled what's happening to me into music. So my songs are very autobiographical, I guess. But the songs now that I'm writing, they're about what's happening on the planet, which I never would have thought. I would never have said I was politically active, or you know, that voice would come through. But it's just more raising the vibration through the music. So I don't know if I'm going around in circles here, but
No.
That's allowed, right?
Multi-dimensional, love. It is all circles.
Yeah, I guess so. But the songs that I'm writing since I returned from Arizona are more, for me, they're resonating more with my spiritual energy, my spiritual side. So what's beautiful is the songs that I'm singing when I'm doing my healing work are like songs I don't know what they are, where they're coming from. And it's like I'm an audience to myself, because I'm just listening, going, oh, okay, what's, you know, it's like watching, listening, these sounds that are releasing contracts in people. So whatever is in this light language, also when the Pleiadians work through me, my hands are doing light language. So it's vibration, sound, and frequency, which I really don't understand it. I don't need to. I'm remembering it. I never learned this stuff. I never, had to go and study this or anything. So I don't know what's happening. It's like ancient remembering, and you know, I think. So it's very difficult for me to say what it is, because it's, you know, it's a remembering, you know.
I think it's a remembering. I think this is sort of part of all of our divine blueprint, and this sort of waking up and remembering who we are. Something my guides keep repeating over and over again is remember who you are, remember who you are. And it's a little bit like the 1111. It's an activation. It is to kind of shock you awake, because then your brain goes, well, who am I? And then that's like limitless. You sort of go out searching, you know, like expanding your consciousness. Who am I really? Who am I? I am. And that, I feel, is, you know, something that is so good for everyone to do, to meditate on that. Who am I? What am I meant to be? What am I? What aspects of myself am I not accessing yet? What do I need to know? Because it is part of our infinite interconnectedness, interwovenness, I think, in the divine, that we're all at like unique aspects of that. And so it's kind of coming through for each person in their own unique way, and yet we're accessing this innate genius, right? And so it is a memory, but it's like, was it a memory of something or a gift or an ability that you've used before, or is it a memory or a gift or ability that you've never used before that's coming from your future self? Like, it's just like, wow, you know, when you
that moment, future, everything, which is phenomenal when you step out of the linear and you go into quantum consciousness.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe that, actually, I remember years ago coming across a book about crystal singers, and I mean, the idea that in the times of Atlantis, we would have worked with this sound vibration and the crystals, and that we carry this vibration, this tone in our Akash, so that in this now time, when we are, you know, like I wander this planet. I'm a restless. I'm always on adventures. I have to go and meet the people. I have to find my people. I have to find my family. You know, but we find each other because I believe we have this sound that is just in our field, and that's how we're connecting. I mean, it's also through the diamond, the ray, of course, but I believe totally it's also a combination of that with our sound. We have a sound, and when we're together, we can move mountains. You know, when we're in a circle with our people, with our star family, with our soul family, there's nothing we can't do. You know, that's why it's so important, I think, for all of us to meditate, or to at least be in silence and send love and light to you know, we are Gaians, and our mother needs our love. We must connect through sound, through music, through meditation, through light, as often as we can, because she's gone into 5D and we're coming with her. We got to help her, and the sound is yeah. So sound through music is really important for me. Sound through healing, sound in every aspect, and toning is amazing. What we can do.
So powerful. So can we expect a healing sound album from you at some point in the future?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's already happened, right?
Yeah.
I've been told, you know, since I can remember, since people started, you know, listening to my songs and my music and my meditations, that it is absolutely, it's on the cards, as they say. It's yeah, something I love to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait, honey.
Mm-hmm.
And have you got any advice for people that may be just kind of at the start of this journey and maybe don't have any idea what's going on with them, might be having some strange experiences or some visitations or energy movements through their body or whatever it is that they're experiencing? How can they, I guess, move through this process with a little more grace?
Be still, light a candle, breathe, ask your higher self, what's going on? What am I feeling? Start to find a meditation that resonates with you. Very simple meditation, just with light. They're profound, just working with filling your whole energy body with white light or golden white light. Connect with you, with your heart, and ask Source, please guide me to people, guide me to teachers. When you ask, so you will receive, right? So ask universe to send you your community, send you people. And when you start to meet other people, go to a meetup group, join a meditation group, and trust your intuition that you're following where your heart magnetically is leading you. And then start to talk with these people. And when you, in communication, you open up and you realize you're not alone. There are so many people waking up now. A lot of the people coming to me are really young starseeds. They're teenagers. I have 8-year-olds that I have really, these kids are ancient and they're waking up, and we need to support them, and we need to hold a space for them to come to us and say, Mom, Dad, you know, I'm feeling this. And we need to tell them, okay, let's find a meditation, let's find a community for you to be in. And they're opening up everywhere. There's so much going on for young children now as well, with yoga, and there are meditation classes for children. We just need to open up and allow. We need to allow the light. I think that's what we do. We find our people.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% beautiful. And so in terms of how people can find you, and can people book sessions online with you, or do you work there?
I am really terrible with all sorts of the business end of things. I need to access that part of me that was a businesswoman in another lifetime. But I do have I think actually I do have the Dublin Wellness Centre is where I work on Mondays. But Leni Morrison, if you put in Leni Morrison, Leni Morrison, and all of my details are with the Dublin Wellness Centre, or LeniMorrison5@gmail.com. So yeah, But all of my my Facebook and other links, mobile, etc., are on the Dublin Wellness Centre. So if you just look for Leni Morrison, I'll come up under the Dublin Wellness Centre.
Amazing, honey. And are you planning any retreats or events over in Ireland that we can come and...
I missed that. Sorry, Alex.
Are you planning any retreats or events that we...
I will be very soon, because I'm fortunate enough to have my family home. We have a centre of healing, beautiful big space to host retreats. So you're planting a lot of very exciting seeds in my head. Yeah.
I'm excited. You've got to keep me posted.
I need to start thinking about expanding into doing workshops. But the groups that I'm working with, my meditation groups, we're that is very powerful for a group setting. But absolutely, let's do it.
I mean, there's a retreat. I think there's a retreat coming up. I'm excited. And as I look out the window, there are 2 magpies sitting on.
Two for joy!
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, Leni, are there any other parting words you would like to say to our viewers just before we finish up?
The most powerful thing I think we can all do, and I've said this throughout this beautiful conversation, is let's really live in our heart and from our heart. And once you start to move this into this, miracles can happen, when you align with pure love. So that's all that's working for me. It's working for my family and friends. So let's keep spreading love. Yeah, that's all we're here to do. Yeah, thank you for this lovely chat.
Oh, beautiful lady. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's just been an absolute honor and a pleasure. And God, the energy I can feel between us and coming through me.
Yeah, we're channeling a lot of this, is activating a lot of our crystals between us, for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful warmth around my sacral area, around my womb space, actually. It's very...
My crown is buzzing. Woo! Take off!
I love it. Wow, and I'm sure our viewers can feel it too. It's like, it's amazing. So, Leni, I just wish I was in person with you so I could give you a big hug.
Well, let's make that happen. Let's make that happen.
It has to happen.
Yeah, it will happen. Yeah, we're all meeting each other again. We're reconnecting again. So it's going to happen. Thank you for having me on your show. It's been amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me. And just for all our viewers, thank you so much for watching. Please like and comment and share this video. We'd love to hear your feedback, any insights you have, or anyone you'd like to recommend to appear on the show. I'm open to suggestions always. And thank you for being part of the community here at the Alexandra Wenman Show. And thank you for watching.